how was Bahamas? It must be such a, I mean, from your pictures you published on your blog, it feels to be a very strange mixture.
The Bahamas are really awful. They're really horrible. On the one hand, it's a holiday destination and has houses belonging to some of the most famous names in American sport and the media. On the other hand, it's full of poverty. And so it's a paradoxical place. It's a place associated with millionaires, a place associated with the financial sector, the secret world of offshore businesses. And on the other hand, it's full of very poor people. And I found that kind of weird because it's a very small island and the poverty is right next to the rich people, yeah. So it was a weird place to go and I didn't really like it.
But it feels like it's not a place that you it's not a place that you can really feel close to. I don't know, that's how I felt when I was reading it. But I mean, I was much more impressed by how you look at it, actually, and how you try to narrate this experience for us, but also for a kind of anonymous audience, because you didn't know about your audience before that much, no?
No. The mechanisms surrounding the offshore businesses are really ones which are designed to stop people from taking the next step. And so by being there, you don't really get very far investigating these private companies other than by good luck. And just by chance, I had some good luck on the penultimate day I was there. And it was nothing but good luck. It was the good luck of a receptionist woman, a lady, who questioned the way I was spelling the name of the company. So she was typing the name of the company, and I was looking for a secret company. And we weren't having any luck finding this company in the database. And so she questioned the way it was spelt. So by one means and another, we arrived at some different spellings, which involved going to a Greek linguist and then coming back with some different spellings. And then we found a different company. So researching a company in the Bahamas, the best place to go is probably not the Bahamas. But just by good fortune, I did manage to find something that was of interest.
So was there a moment when you suspect actually headless, non-existent as a non-existent company as such? Was there a moment when you started to feel or suspect that is there a headless really as company, as an offshore company?
Is there a headless company? Yeah. No.
Bahamas.
The company I found out very easily. I found out the name of the company. It's quite ironic when the person doing the interview can't hear the question. Yeah. I found out the name of the company I was investigating quite quickly because the Bahamas now has freedom of information. But this freedom of information is kind of a joke. So the information that they allow you to get is of no use. It's just information about who registered the company. People who register companies don't necessarily own those companies. So I found out information about the company I was researching quite quickly. What was interesting was that we believe that this company is just a company which was established last year. The really interesting company was established in 1962 and was abandoned in 2000, which was exactly the time when the Freedom of Information Act came into force. So that's the next step in the process, is to try and look at this earlier company and see if that company has anything to do with the secret sect established by Georges Bataille in the 1930s.
No, it's I mean, it's very funny that you mentioned this freedom of information policy. I mean, because if you look around, actually a lot of this exhibition is about this privileged and non-privileged information and the distribution of the information itself.
But the freedom to investigate a company in the Bahamas is only the freedom to know the names of the people who registered the company and the names of the directors. Both these things with an offshore company are in the hands of a trust company. So you still don't know who owns the company. But yes, it's a little bit freer than it was. On the last day I was there, I was talking to a couple of bankers involved in international banking. And one of the great ironies is that the United States were very keen for the Bahamas to become freer in their information. At this point, a lot of companies abandoned the Bahamas and went to more secretive locations. One of those locations was the state of Delaware in the United States. So you have this kind of irony all the time in the offshore world. So yeah.
So I would also like to question, I have a question about how is this experience with Jacob and Simon, Goldin+Senneby, do you think, is it affecting your experience as a novelist, your writing? I mean, how do you feel about this generally, apart from collaborating with somebody that you don't know?
Collaborating with somebody you don't know is very strange. Yesterday, I didn't know where my hotel was yesterday, and I started to think that this trip was another construct by Senneby and Goldin. And it's the same feeling I had in the Bahamas when I had panic attacks several times because I thought somebody was following me. Because obviously they work with techniques such as covert surveillance. So they use private detectives in their work. And at several points I thought somebody was following me. At one point I was in a restaurant and I thought the woman next to me was somehow trying to know something about the project. And so yes, it's weird. It's weird to know that somebody is sending you to a place and you don't really know why you're going. Because I don't really know what their project is about.
I like this kind of suspense and tension in the project. So, yeah, of course, I enjoy it myself.
Yes, it's all right for everybody else. Yes, but that was the agreement we had. The agreement is that I don't ask any questions other than what they send me. So, you know, whether these things are legal or whatever, I just try and write the fiction. And so it's kind of interesting, yeah.
I mean, of course, this is a more particular question, but because what you are doing, what you have been doing, more or less, was becoming a really active participant of a project. I mean, in contemporary art, we are discussing a lot about this participation issue. I mean, becoming a kind of passive participation, but you know, you're actually very active in participating. So, after this project, after becoming involved in this project, I mean, have you started to look a little bit around contemporary art, what is going on, why these people approached you for their project, and does this kind of affect your interest for what's happening in contemporary art? I'm curious. That's all my curious.
In theory, yes. In practice, I was finishing another book at the same time, so in practice, not. I'm not sure. I'm not sure in terms of writing a novel where this kind of collaboration goes. I'm not sure whether it's going to be successful. One of the problems with writing a novel in this way is that each section is written and then finished. Like this is going to be chapter 2. With a novel, you generally don't have a fixed plan. So after you've written chapter 2, you might go back to it and change some of the details, change some of the characters, change some of the plot. So in terms of writing a piece of fiction, like as long as a novel, I'm not sure whether it's going to be successful without some kind of revision. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. But at the same time, it's a bit strange to have somebody telling you what to write. And I found that a little bit strange, having somebody tell me what to write. Although at the same time, it's sometimes been quite interesting to see what they want you to write. Because they don't really know what they want you to write. So they want you to write something, and so they can find out what they want you to write, and then tell you what they want. So it's kind of a weird thing.
Like, for example, here at the moment, it is you who are here for this project. It's not them.
I'm not the artist here. I'm just the writer. I think that's something which is characteristic of the work of Goldin+Senneby, is that they use writers and artists and designers like artisans. So we're not really artists. We're doing the job which the artists tell us to do. So it's I feel a bit more like a carpenter or a pen. I don't know. You know, in the great artistic workshops, they would have apprentices who would do the backgrounds to the painting. Yeah. So I feel like one of those young guys doing the background, and Goldin+Senneby are then doing the really detailed work. And in this particular project, I know they're using a variety of other people: book designer, graphic designer.
And there is a scenographer.
And
there is a scenographer who designed this, and of course there is a designer who designed your travel journal.
In some ways, I'm not quite sure what Goldin+Senneby actually do. It's a bit weird. But yes, they draw the workers into the project, and we follow instructions, really. So that's how it differs from a normal project.
I can tell you that it is quite a daring project, because basically all of us who are existing here at the moment will be all characters in this novel, and we will be all fictionalized and part of this Looking for a Headless novel.
Yes, everybody here will be in the novel. Everybody will be in the novel in some way, yes. So I'll be taking notes, and but I'm not sure how this performance will relate to the novel, but it will certainly be part of the novel, yeah.
John, thank you so much for being here and for sharing this experience with me. It really was a very interesting talk. It was very nice that you actually accepted to share this talk with me. And thank you so much for sharing this experience with us. Thank you. And have a nice evening.